And now we go back to cinema, and this is Air, the story of how Jordan got his shoes, how Jordan got his shoes back. Holly, you've seen this. Tell us about Air.
So, as you said, it is the making of Michael Jordan, arguably, but also the making of Nike. So the fundamental principles of it are shoe companies are constantly looking for players to sponsor who will wear their shoes, their brands, be it Nike, Reebok, whatever, and they are therefore, constantly on a quest to find the right players that they want to align with. And traditionally, this is a number of different players. Nike's in a slump, and as I say, this is a real story. So Nike was in a slump. They weren't doing well. Their sales weren't great. They were losing out significantly to the competition. And one of their lead recruiter, played by Matt Damon, looks at everybody, considers everything, and decides that this is the time for them to not go for a pool, but to throw everything at a single player and create for the first time a shoe around the player rather than linking the player to the shoe. As people are aware, this ultimately worked out. I don't think there's any secret to that. So you've got Matt Damon being good. You'd got Ben Affleck playing the president of the company, and
Phil Knight.
Thank you. And he and Matt Damon's character, which his name I can never remember because I'm thoroughly disinterested in names, go back a long, long way. And a good proportion of it is the interactions with Viola Davis, who plays Mum.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's mum, yeah.
And it's a very, very enjoyable film. I found interesting. I particularly liked a feature that you never saw Michael Jordan's face. At any point in the film. He was there, but he wasn't speaking, and you just saw the back of him. So there was no attempt to try to replicate who he is. Until, as is obligatory in credits, you saw actual him.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really effective technique, in that you weren't expected to try to shape your expectations or
going, that's not the way he speaks, that's not the way he walks.
Yeah,
I saw him in
exactly.
Game 7 in Utah, and that's not the way he moved.
So the only points where you see him are when you see, other than as a back of a figure, is when you see him.
Oh yeah, like archive footage of him playing basketball or something. Yeah.
Where you get the feel for what's going on, and it really does. It was. I'm not a basketball fan, but I found it really impressive and really interesting because it's not something I know anything about. So I don't know if that would make it more or less appealing to somebody who is a massive basketball fan, in terms of sort of learning. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and left with a smile.
That's good. There's one thing actually. What sort of era was Michael Jordan prolific? Was it like late 80s, early 90s? Was that when? I mean, the thing is, the only reason I'm saying is that I remember, because I was in America, and I remember they used to have this advert on, and it was about Michael Air Jordan, and it was like, the advert was, man, he like hangs there for a week. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, and as he's putting one on the basket, he's going, man, he like hangs there for a week, and they had a really big shot up of the Nike, whatever numbers they're called. I just always remember that advert. I don't know why.
I think this film is set in the late 80s because
late 80s. I was going to say
because I think
89 time.
Yeah, because they actually sold this shoe and they got Michael Jordan on board before people really knew who Michael Jordan was. Yeah. They got him when he was while he was still a rookie, coming out of university, going into the NBA. So, but then this continued with him throughout his career, and that's why the Air Jordan. I think that's why the film's called Air. Air Jordan became a thing. And
it's funny that I remember that advert now, and it's funny how that sticks in my mind. Yeah. Man, he like hangs there for a week. I always remember that.
there were a lot there. I mean, Nike had a lot of iconic adverts with Michael Jordan, like directed by Spike Lee and stuff like that, and all that. So it was all that. So with Air, it's kind of like, because this is a weird thing. It's a biopic, but it's not a biopic of a person. It's kind of the biopic of a shoe or the biopic of a company, so to say. What did you think? How did it work?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that's exactly it. It is the biopic of a shoe, ultimately, with the company as a supporting character to the shoe. Really enjoyed it. Will absolutely, as is traditional, I will watch it again, because, as we know, there's nothing I won't again. But I will really enjoy. I'm really looking forward already to watching it again. That will be as soon as it's up on.
I think. I was just going to say, I think it's popping up on either Amazon Prime or Disney Plus this weekend.
Won't be long.
Okay, we know what I'm doing when I get back from my friend's wedding on Saturday.
Would you say it was accessible? Because someone like me, I mean, I've heard of Michael Jordan, but I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup.
No, nor could I.
And I wouldn't be able to identify an Air Nike trainer if you threw one at me. Quite
No. Sharon, they make it very easy for you. It's emblazoned all over the shoe.
I recognise him.
Even though it's completely outside of sort of anything I would recognise.
Yep.
Would you still say it's accessible for the completely non-initiated in the world of basketball and trainers?
Yes, because that is also me.
So
I would not be able to pick him out in a lineup. I know what Nike's logo is, but don't ask me to identify any of their shoes. I mean, I know they're trainers, but don't ask me more than that. They're definitely accessible.
Oh, good. That's encouraging, because I see these films and I think, I don't know. So I tend to.
80 for Brady.
Exactly. I'm like, huh? So
I think you'd enjoy it.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a film that seems to be a lot of people talking in rooms or on the phone, and it's funny because you're talking about Matt Damon's character, and I keep thinking his name is Shelby, because that was the name of his character in Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
And in my head, this is a very similar character.
Yeah.
But I know the name of the Nike guy was not Shelby, but I just keep thinking Shelby. All right, so how many stars would we give Air?
4.
4? Ooh, good lord, this is a good week. It's a good week. So 4 stars for Air. 4 stars for Air. And now we